Nicholas.
Oh, hi, Tys. How you going, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm
You're a bit worse for wear. Your pipes, your sweet pipes, feeling a bit worn.
rusty. Is that a word?
Yeah. Hey, you got a nice thing going on.
I've got a nice thing
sticky
going on.
shoes. Nice sticky shoes.
I like it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 111 of Nick Tys and Videotape. We're very excited to be here today. We're talking about a movie from 2001. We are talking about the Dominic Sena, the auteur Dominic Sena directed Swordfish.
Swordfish. This is so 2001s. We were thinking about it. We were like, what do? We want trashy 2000s.
I just felt like the most 2000s movie of the 2000s.
Yeah.
And this is up there.
This is spot on.
This has got to be it. Because we had such a good time doing Fast and the Furious, which wasn't was technically 2000 or 2001?
2000, I think, yeah.
So that snuck in, and that felt super Naughties.
Yeah.
And we had a good time talking about that. So we thought, why not do it again? To lesser successful results, I feel. But we'll see how we go.
Hey, it was a ball watching it. I may have rated it low, but it was a ball
exactly
watching it.
Right. Nick, why don't you tell people where they can find our show?
Well, thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I know I sound a bit weird. I had a bit of a sing in the car on the ride over. And Jesus, what an idiot. It was a hardcore song. But thank you for joining us. If this is your first episode, maybe choose another episode. Just a heads up.
This could be funny though. We don't know yet.
That's true. Look, tune into our St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh yeah, that
was a ball. That was a hilarious ball. That the movie just sucked. It just blew ass. Like Jesus Christ.
Yes.
But yes, thank you for joining us. Please like, rate, review. Star, all of those things. Write a review. Subscribe.
A review would be amazing.
Subscribe. That's a good one as well. But yeah, if you want to see what else we're doing, jump on all the socials, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We like to drop different things. If you have been brave enough to have a look at what Tys posted about the Avengers, I haven't watched it yet because I don't want to bawl my eyes out. But yeah, that was a good one. I like that.
It was. I just want, while we've got the opportunity, I do just want to shout out to that YouTube creator of that video because I've watched a few of the edits created by that channel since posting that. And they do a wonderful job. I don't know if it's one person or if it's a small team.
Nice.
But that is the Garrow Studios, Garo. And yes, they've done like just a kind of an edit. They've edited together footage from all the Marvel movies as a bit of a reflection on the series as a whole, specifically a few characters that are very near and dear to our hearts and the journey that they've been on. And, you know, whether or not it's the tacky music in the background that is that's, you know, just tugging at the heartstrings, but he knows when to cut a scene in. And it's incredible. And a few people who have watched it have all responded the same way. So I dare you to go on and not...
because of these people that I'm not watching it. Thank you everyone for commenting, those people who have. But you've turned me away. I'm gonna wait for a bit.
Just get have a hanky nearby.
Have a hanky? Jesus.
Maybe pour yourself a glass of wine.
Hanky
get ready for a little bit of a cry. I don't know. I didn't want to say tissues because it sounded gross.
Oh yeah, fair deal. Tissues is always
Grab
wrong,
a box
isn't
of
it? Grab a box of
tissues
tissues
and
with
moisturizer.
That's horrible. That's so horrible. But yes, we do post many different things on all forms of the platforms that we are on.
We do.
But yes, other than that, that's cute. Other than that, jump on the app Letterboxd because I'm telling all these people I love this app. I have started so normally as a movie watcher, if you go to look up anything about a film, you go to IMDb, right? Well, not anymore. I'm kind of leaning towards looking it up on Letterboxd now.
Yeah, I do Letterboxd, but first, and then I go check IMDb to read the trivia. Right. I mean, it's the IMDb trivia. Most of it's horseshit, but you get a few laughs out of it.
And some of it in there, you're like, why is that in there? That's got nothing to do with anything.
This person was in this movie with this person who also was in this movie with this person and then this person.
Yeah, and I'm like,
okay,
that's awesome.
Great.
You're clearly bored.
Yeah, thank you for that informative piece of trivia.
But yeah, jump on Letterboxd. You can follow Tys and myself. I am NIC, so Nick_videotape, and Tys is TYS_videotape.
That's correct. Nick,
Tys.
Let's talk some trailers.
Nice.
Everybody's talking trailers.
What you want? I am fucking
Big
revved
news
up.
today.
I am revved up for this thing.
This is good because this came out this morning, this trailer, and there's the morning of recording, and hopefully we'll have the episode available Saturday, Australian time, so it'll be relatively fresh.
I like that.
We are talking about Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life.
shit. Oh.
Come on, man.
You can get that buffed out.
No, you can get that buffed out.
Remember, knock and talk.
Yeah, knock, knock.
Miami PD, get down! What the hell happened to knock and talk?
Hands behind your head right now.
I got this. I'm gonna penetrate this man's soul with my heart.
What?
Watch and learn. Sir, I realize that you're scared. You know, sometimes fear.
How deep you think you got in his soul?
I'm done, Mike. I'm retiring.
Uh-oh, here we go again.
You want your legacy to be muscle shirts and body counts?
Look at this mess. It's carnage.
I didn't do all this.
You didn't shoot anybody?
Well, come on, Cap. You know I shot some people.
Yeah. Fuck me. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck.
In these streets, I never trusted anybody but you. I'm asking you, man. Bad boys.
One last time.
One last time.
I'm the definition of half man, half drugs. Ask the clubs, bad boy, that's what's up.
He's trying to do them all. We're not just black, we're cops too. We'll pull ourselves over later.
It's official. I survived what I've been through. Y'all got drama, the saga continues. Bad boys. Bad boys. We ain't going nowhere.
You were right about the glasses. I've been telling your ass for a year.
We can't be stopped now.
Shit, Mike. These are like HD.
Cause it's bad boy for life. We ain't going nowhere. Cause it's bad boy for life.
Bad boys, bad boys.
Hey,
what she gonna do? What she gonna do when we come in?
Hey, no, never. Y'all will never do that again.
Yeah, and you fucking up the lyrics, which take a long time to learn.
Cause it's bad boy for life.
Okay, Nick.
Okay.
This movie has been in the pipes
For ages.
for years.
Well, if you look
Years
at it,
and
like someone
years.
posted on Twitter the timeline, like Bad Boys was 1995. 95, man.
Jesus.
I'm loving this. I've asked Tys, can we do it on this show? Tys is like, yeah, nah. It's
Well, look, we'll get
it's
around to
fucking
it. We'll get
lame.
around to it.
I love it. Only because I was talking about it with Edge. Jesus. From Film Bands
Oh,
that
yes.
we've had on before. Sorry about that. And I was talking to him about it, and he hasn't seen any of the Bad Boys. And I was like, for someone coming in fresh, you have to have an understanding that 1995, you know, it has that 90s feel. It's 90s action, things like that. Oh my God, I'm dying. So yeah, it has that little bit of a feel.
I think the
Bad
first
Boys-
Bad Boys is
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Bad
Good,
Boys 2.
Good to okay.
I love
I
Bad
have real
Boys
trouble
2.
with Bad Boys too.
I love Bad Boys
It's
2.
just
It's
bonkers.
great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's such a joy to watch. It's an action film that does not give a shit.
Are we sad though that we're not going to get Michael Bay back to just
Rip it
Bayify
up again?
Yeah.
We are a little.
Because I think part of the charm of watching those movies and why they are so watchable, even though Bad Boys 2 goes for like 14 hours, is that Michael Bay
He's doing his thing.
and you just kind of sit back and you're just overwhelmed by the bravado of his direction, where you're just like, I can't believe you chose that. I mean, good on you for choosing it.
Yeah.
But my God. And so I don't know, is it going to be a little bit of a letdown not seeing Michael Bay back to do his thing now in this era?
Is it, or is it going to be someone who's actually going to take the helm of something that we love and go, you know what, I can do it.
I did just look
lot
up the
better.
directors, and well, I don't. They've done nothing
no
that I've
one's.
seen.
Okay.
So this is their first real big kind of step into Hollywood cinema. I don't recognize them at all. Never seen anything they've worked on. So
Bring it on. So someone fresh, bringing
it's
it something
two people.
new.
It's a team.
I like it.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We're getting
though.
a lot of teams nowadays, aren't we?
Yeah.
Teams taking the helm.
Yeah. Look, it's
Bring it on.
I like the idea of working in conjunction with somebody because you can always bounce ideas off people, and
Exactly.
if you trust them creatively, then it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, that doesn't work. This doesn't work. But I'm loving it. This is awesome. So Will Smith is back. Martin Lawrence is back.
Yeah.
Joe, how do you say his last name?
Joey Pants.
Pants.
Joey Pantaleone.
Pantaleone.
I think.
Pantaleone. It doesn't end in an O.
Does it?
I'm pretty sure it ends in an O.
Pantalonio.
Definitely not Pantaleone.
Joey Pants.
He's back doing his thing. Someone maybe should have given Martin Lawrence a bit of a heads up. Maybe hit the gym.
It looks like someone shoved a bike pump into Martin Lawrence and just pumped away a few times. Because it's Martin Lawrence, but like
dude,
just blown up a little bit.
You look a little weird, man.
Like what happens to that lady in the fourth Harry Potter or whatever, the third Harry Potter.
Who? Oh, right. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yes, look, bless his heart. He's I actually have a bit of a soft spot for Martin Lawrence.
I love Martin Lawrence.
I don't tend to enjoy many of his movies, but for some reason I kind of just enjoy him as a screen presence.
Yeah, fair deal.
And he's dropping some one-liners that I found most of the funny things that in this trailer were his
coming
lines.
From him. Yeah. But that's the thing. He's the comic relief to Will Smith's sort of straight man.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I did like the moment where it's like, I mean, yeah, no, look, I did shoot some people.
Yeah,
like, of course. That made me laugh. And of course, it's always fun to see Joey Pants losing his mind and just swearing and then sculling the Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah. I love Pepto-Bismol. It's two things that I brought back from the States on my honeymoon.
Oh, right.
We don't have it here.
Nice.
It actually works a treat.
Yeah, what do we got?
Good.
My Lanta.
It's a full pass. Jesus Christ, my Lanta.
But yeah, so we don't really, I suppose, we don't know much of the plot specifically.
You don't need to.
Just that it's, Martin Lawrence has been out of the game for a little while, which probably explains his appearance. And Will Smith is still, well, there you go. I mean, they're looking great for in their 50s.
Exactly.
Will Smith's still a cop. And needs Martin Lawrence for something.
Yeah,
they need to go one last round.
Yeah.
Bad Boys for Life. I guess.
Because where did that come from? I was like, is this a dry run, or has Will Smith been doing his cop thing for ages?
Well, we don't really get any of that information. All we really get is some pretty cool looking action. Like, I mean, it looks fun. It looks like it's kind of at least maintaining the spirit of the Michael Bay ones, where it's the action is kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
I really do hope we get a ground level sweeping shot in slow-mo, because I mean 100%. What are we doing if we're not?
If we're not doing that, well, clearly you're missing the point of Bad Boys.
And it looks like they might be leaning in a little bit to the kind of the male the not chauvinism, because that's not the right word, the machismo of the first two, where it's just so like yeah, man, I love guns. I love shooting people. 100%. Look how cool we are because we're shooting guns. It looks like they're leaning into that kind of taking the piss out of that a little bit. You've got the shot where they try to do the cool kind of reveal and he accidentally hits the car door against the fire extinguisher. Yeah. You've got him, the bit where he puts on the glasses and he's like, oh, shit, I can see this is like HD.
This is HD. I should have been wearing glasses forever.
Yeah, dude, so maybe, maybe they will kind of embrace their age and the fact that they're no longer the cool, hip,
they're not the
young
20-year-olds that they were before, in Bad Boys 1. I do hope Tia Leone just pops up her head.
What happened to her in that first movie? Did she make it?
She made it, yeah.
Yeah, good on her.
They saved her. She was the damsel.
Huh.
I want her to come back as like, she's now a cop.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, well, you guys don't know what you're doing. You never did.
Yeah. That's what Joey Pants is there for, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to yell.
I love
that.
You know what I used to love, especially in number 2, is the Italian and Mexican duo cop who is also...
Oh, yeah.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
They made it as well for me.
Yes.
So good.
Absolutely. They're kind of remind me of those two friends off Seinfeld.
Yeah. With the how do you call it? A armoire?
Oh, yeah.
This is my armoire. Kramer just gets bullied.
Yeah, like intensely bullied by them all the time because they're
so
just
good.
they always want to fight him.
God damn it, I love Seinfeld.
Yeah, look, I mean, I was actually a little bit surprised. It looked a little bit better than I thought it would.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well, it's been in the wings for that long. It better be good.
I know.
Do you know
like they've been talking about this movie for so long. This was one of those movies that I was like, I would not believe that it was coming out until I sit down in a cinema and it starts playing.
Yeah.
Then I will believe that movie exists because we have spent years talking about this.
Yeah.
We've had 3
when did Bad
different
Boys
directors.
2 come out?
2003, I want to say. Yeah, something like that.
All right.
We've been through a ton of directors. Joe Carnahan was going to be directing it for a bit.
2003.
And so, I think we just kind of thought it would be stuck in development hell for so long, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, they're filming. I'm like, sure, they're filming.
Whatever.
When I see a finished movie that is back to front, a complete movie, then I'll believe you.
And then talk to me.
Exactly.
God, that's so funny. One of my favorite, like talking about how Michael Bay number 2 is. You're just looking at that one car scene where they're chasing the cars.
Yeah.
Then the guy jumps on the top. It's a trailer like a semi truck carrying cars, and they dump off the cars, and then a boat comes into it. You can tell how that would have played out. He would have gone, "Yeah, I want a boat in as well."
Yeah, chuck a boat in.
And then like, Michael, man,
Jesus, man.
you're talking about a highway. It's a little full on.
We'll check the budget. Oh, we've got it. Yeah, okay, well, we can do this.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "Are you questioning?"
And he loved it so much.
You're questioning what I'm doing. What do you do?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
You're fired.
Yeah. He loved that footage so much he reused it in Transformers? Or was it The Island?
5?
No, it's footage from The Island he reused in Transformers. Which I love his mentality of that because he knew nobody went and saw The Island. So he's like, well, I can get away with this because no one fucking saw The Island. So
I saw The Island.
I've never seen it.
I remember The Island.
Is it any good?
I remember one scene.
Sure.
That was it. And that's as good as it got.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I watched a trailer the other day for The Island. It was like a week ago.
Oh, yeah, just
I was like,
shits and giggles.
Oh, man, The Island. Remember that shit? God damn, was that good? No.
No,
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No. That's why nobody saw it.
Exactly.
Ewan McGregor. In a Michael Bay film. So strange.
Yeah, man. So good. Tell me you're not going in.
So, well, is there anything else we need to say about this?
No.
Cautiously optimistic now after this trailer?
Yeah, I'm all the way in.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Bad boys for life.
Bad boys for life.
Man.
Exactly.
Once a bad boy, always a bad boy.
Exactly. And I'm glad it's not a Netflix, just to Netflix. I want this thing to have a cinema release.
No, you have to watch this thing in the cinema.
Exactly. And either do really well and people go, well, fuck. Bad Boys 4, I guess.
Bad Boys are back.
Exactly. Or bomb really hard.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I think it'll be successful. I think it's one of those films that it's given enough space and it's been on the tip of everyone's tongue for a while that I think it will do well enough business. It might not do ridiculous business, but you can't tell me this won't at least be a top of the box office for the first weekend and, make maybe 50 mil.
Exactly.
And then, end up with something close to 200 mil for the whole run. That's the kind of the ballpark I'm expecting for it.
Exactly.
Whether or not that makes it a great success or not is another story.
I mean...
All right. Well, that's the only trailer we're going to talk about today. So, because we need all the time in the world to talk about our feature prez that we're going to move straight on to, Nick.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. We could have this done in 20 minutes.
Swordfish. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
Who is he?
He exists in a world beyond your world. What we only fantasize, he does. He lives a life where nothing is beyond him. He takes what he wants, when he wants.
So how do I find him?
You don't find him. He finds you. Good job.
Senator, we have a problem.
Did you know that I can buy nuclear warheads for $40 million each? Hell, I buy half a dozen and even get a discount.
What do you think is going to happen if he starts tying up loose ends?
My employer wants to meet you. He'll pay you just to meet you, Stan.
Ever heard of Operation Swordfish?
Nope. This is a sweet deal. $9.5 billion. Do you have any idea of how much money that is? We go in over the phone lines, pop the firewall, sit back, wait for the money.
So what we need from you, Stanley, is a worm. Marco, let's give him some incentive.
Hey, what are you doing?
I have been told that the best crackers in the world can do this in 60 minutes. Unfortunately, I need someone who can do it in 60 seconds.
You're kidding.
Go! 45 seconds.
You're gonna get these people killed!
20.
Who are you?
I'm not what you think I am.
More time.
Come on, Stan. 15. I think that you think I'm a bank robber. The truth is that I'm worse.
Control, be advised that this is now an aerial pursuit.
Hold on. 3, 2, 1. Too bad. You gotta die.
No, wait.
Not everything ends the way you think it should.
John Travolta, Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, and Don Cheadle. Swordfish.
Swordfish,
Nicholas.
Were you at the video store, Tys, when this came out?
Yes.
Because this was I had finished high school, moved to Ballarat to do study acting, and the boss that was at the video store there knew my boss back home and went, I came in, I was like, hi, I'm here for an interview for the job. And he's like, yeah, no, you're not here for the interview. You're going to start on Monday. I'm like,
great.
Okay. Cheers.
Perfect.
Yeah. And
So
it was
good.
that year that Swordfish came
How
out.
many video stores were there in Ballarat?
There were 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine there'd be many.
There were 2. Yeah.
Was the other one a chain as well, or was the
The
other
other one was a Blockbuster.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And it was more central. More people went to it, but it was smaller. We were bigger.
Yeah, right.
We were Movies Plus.
Movies Plus.
And then...
Plus what?
Plus.
Just plus.
Just plus more movies.
Yeah. Movies plus movies.
Yeah. You get a lot of movies. And then, and I remember because that was the store that we got the first 5 DVDs in. I was like, what is this joke?
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I was
put
at
Twister up
my
there.
video store
Twister
when
was number
DVDs
1.
first came in.
Yeah.
That was an amazing day.
And you're like, okay, chill out.
God,
You know,
do you
this
remember
is a
how
bit weird.
fucking butchered up DVDs used to get when you were renting them out?
Man, they were
Oh
messed
my
up.
God, people are heathens with these things.
What are you doing
What
to
do
this?
they do with them? I never knew. Because you look at any of my DVDs and they look crisp as fuck.
Man, mine are mint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but these people, man,
Yeah.
they, like,
What are you doing?
Using them as coasters,
Yeah.
using them to fucking scrub their bathrooms.
Look, I do have a friend who maybe was ill-advised, and he got told that you clean DVDs via toothpaste.
Toothpaste, that's horseshit.
How did you know that I was going to say that?
Because people used to bring in DVDs and we were like, what
Are
have
you covering
what
this
have you
in some
done?
form of... Oh, yeah, I cleaned it with toothpaste for you.
The concept was
You're
that
welcome.
the toothpaste would fill the scratches.
The scratches,
and so
right.
the laser wouldn't be interrupted by the scratches.
That
Now,
makes
this is horseshit.
zero fucking sense to me.
Look, it makes some sense, but it's not right. At working in a video store, you will know that the only way to fix a scratch disc is to actually buff away a layer
of it.
Yeah.
Which we had that. You had that, the Disc Wizard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if ours was called the Disc Wizard, but it was
really?
the same kind of shit. You had to put some weird goop on it and then
Yeah.
you'd run it through the
Run
thing
it
and it
through
would
two
sand
things
off a
and-
thing.
yeah.
And yep.
Yeah.
Video
This
store
is what
days.
we did, people.
This is what
Okay,
we
this
did.
was our life.
Because of you, people.
Because of-
you
well, not
couldn't
because
look
of you
after your
guys.
DVD.
You're coming back, you had a hard night, you decided to watch fucking The Wedding Singer again,
That's it.
and then like it's come in like this, and we're like, what are you doing?
Just put it back in the cases, people. That's
Exactly.
that's all you had to do.
Yeah. Go back to, how about you get the VHS of that?
Yeah,
and
it's
then-
like Be Kind Rewind.
And then don't rewind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you were that person, you were also the kind of person that didn't put the fucking DVD back in the case. I know you were. Don't deny it. Yeah,
Not
so
me, man.
Swordfish was a Video Easy movie guarantee.
Oh, it was
Get it first time.
Oh, get it
or get it free. I remember that.
A lot of people
Definitely
got it
was.
the first time.
Well, yeah, we made sure of that shit because we had like 400 copies of those things.
I
That's what
love
they
how
don't tell
that.
you.
Yeah, that's the best bit.
Is that you
New
walk
releases,
in,
you have a wall of it.
Yeah,
You're not
but
gonna,
not
you're
even,
not gonna
and we'd
miss
have them
out.
stuck at the back as well because people would go
Jesus.
to it, see that there were none on the shelf,
And come up and go,
"Oh, there's none on the shelf. Can we get it for free?" And we'd be like, "Nah, man, we got it right here.
Right here, bro.
Don't you worry about
You're
it."
all right. You're solid. And I go, oh, I didn't actually.
I didn't actually want it.
Yeah.
That's what they would do. Oh man, video store days.
Hilarious.
Again, how we always just end up talking about. This should just be a podcast
'Cause
telling
it's got-
stories about video store days.
We can do that. We can do that.
We should do a little side podcast.
We can do that.
Our
I
favorite
went through- I
video
went
store
through-
stories.
I went through a time because our video store was quite big. Back at my first one, I went through a time of the new guy because it was a friend of a friend. The new guy who started. Whenever he was putting stuff back or cleaning, because Anchorman was the thing at the time, I would walk past him and just push him really hard. This sounds like I'm bullying him, but I wasn't. I would just push him really hard and go, "I've got to read the news," and just push him down. It was fucking gold. It was the thing to do. I'd never hurt him. He's fine. Okay, he's dead now, but that's not the point.
It was completely unrelated.
It was
causes.
so fine. I know him. He's a friend of mine, James King. If you actually listen to this podcast, man, how are you, man? You're looking well. You're looking
so
good.
But yeah, Swordfish was movie guarantee. So I definitely saw it. I don't know if I saw it at the cinemas. I can't remember. Do you reckon-
Swordfish?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. I didn't see this shit.
It was huge, though. It was a
It
big
was a big
cinema
deal.
film. Like,
Hugh Jackman, man. So he was coming off the back of, because X-Men 1 was 2000s. So this was, well, who's this new guy? Hugh Jackman.
Exactly.
What can we use him in?
And I don't know if you remember, but the TV shows, the light entertainment TV shows.
Sure.
I wonder if it was Rove Live around that time or something
Jesus
like that.
Christ.
But everywhere you fucking turned, there was Hugh Jackman and John Travolta
Yep.
buddying it up,
Plugging this film.
and yeah, but and because they had this massive bromance going. Do you remember? Like, they just loved each other sick. They'd like found soulmates in each other
because they were friends who could sing and so, dancing as well. You know,
so they did every fucking television show. I remember you couldn't turn on a television without seeing them, two of them sitting there on a couch talking about this movie.
Yeah,
it was massive. This film,
it was huge,
and we did briefly talk about this before.
Have we?
We both like as in earlier prior to recording.
Oh, okay.
We both kind of liked this movie when we first saw it.
That's not wrong. Everyone loved this movie.
Yeah,
everyone. Did this film make money?
I feel it did. Ton of it.
It would want to just for how much they paid Halle Berry.
It was a very expensive movie to make. Do you know this fucking thing cost over $100 million to make?
Jesus Christ!
Like spending over $100 million on like a tech thriller. It's unheard of. But this is.
Do you think? Hang on a minute. Let's rewind just a second. Because I know it was a very big deal how much they. We'll get into this. How much they paid Halle Berry.
Halle Berry
to bare her breasts.
She was paid an extra $500,000 for a nude scene on top of her $2 million paycheck.
Yeah.
For probably maybe 12 minutes of screen time.
If that, and it's not 12 minutes of breasts. It's a minute or 2 minutes of breasts.
But and the thing is, they feel so.
It's so out of place.
It's so out of place. It's
like,
the most.
Why are you?
It's the
and especially
most
if you know
scene.
her character, like her character is.
But the whole thing is that story.
Yeah.
Floated around as much as fucking the Travolta Jackman bromance.
Yeah.
So every man and his dog who went and saw that movie knew that she was paid $500,000 to take her top off in the film. And so,
but the fact that the
scene comes up, and it's almost like
this is the scene.
The movie stops.
Yeah.
Because this is the scene. Like Hugh Jackman might as well go, guys, this is it. Are you ready?
Like fully
there it was.
Break the fourth wall and go.
That cost Hollywood $500,000. Was it worth it?
Definitely was.
Oh, you decide.
You decide. You guys are the deciders.
Yeah.
Have you paused the DVD? You sick bastards.
But I mean, you don't have to pause DVDs now. You could like Google search that shit in about 0.8 of a second.
That's right.
They spent obscene amounts of money on things that weren't necessary.
Yeah.
Like I was reading little bits and pieces about how they would go to film effects shots and people would say, oh, there's a cheaper way to do it. And I'd be like, no, we're doing it this way.
Right.
So it was like this.
They had money to burn.
Yeah. It felt a little bit like this kind of, like debaucherous film set where it was just like throwing money at everything.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, oh, can we do this? Here, take another mill.
Right.
And ended up costing over $100 million for what is just
Jesus Christ.
Like, it's like The Net, but in 2000.
Yeah. Like really is.
Or Hackers.
Oh, no, hang on. I'll go to bat for Hackers any day, man. I love that. I love Hackers. Don't get me wrong. Going on the back of what you just said, though, like that was also, yes, Hugh Jackman, who you've just seen in X-Men.
Yep.
He's a new fresh face that people want to see.
Oh, he's the new big thing.
Exactly. John Travolta being a bad guy, which was also quite new, because the first bad guy was what year was Broken Arrow? Was that 90s?
96, I want to say.
So this is another, let's see, your Danny Zuko doing a bad guy thing.
Yeah, I mean, the closest we had Pulp Fiction technically is a bad guy.
He is.
But yeah, Broken Arrow,
but
he
it was a
playing,
comeback
and then
thing, you know.
John Woo kind of gave him the opportunity to play these actual villains, and I think I do honestly think he's outstanding in Face Off. Like,
I love him as a villain.
He is such a great villain in Face Off.
Yeah. He plays such a great villain. But yeah, so you had those things, and then the real pull to get everyone in, or to get the male population in, was you are guaranteed to see breasts in this because this is how much we've paid Halle Berry to bear her breasts. Like, it was a big deal for her to do that.
Is that not just the most obscenely, like, awful marketing campaign?
Well, it's not great. Like, it's definitely not great.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I almost think like that's worse to me than like
unless it's
we joke about the skeezy producer that's like, oh hey, we can get some boobs in here, great, here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a movie.
Yeah,
I think that is less egregious than this because it's almost like they leaked the info so that people would have prior knowledge of it.
It's not like owning it like a Russ Meyer film.
Yeah,
you're going to see a Russ Meyer film, so you know what you're in for. No,
exactly.
No. We are making it a point to tell the public that Halle Berry was paid extra to bear her breasts.
Yeah.
You know.
And look, man, so good on her for earning that extra coin.
100%.
Fucking A. We should talk about all over the characters, but she's useless in this movie. What is she doing? She does not need to be in this movie at all. Her character is rubbish.
You didn't like her?
No,
really?
I don't.
My voice has gone to
I
shit.
don't like her at all in this
You
movie.
don't like her?
She's there to do two things. She's there to be objectified. And
which happens a lot.
And to kind of say saucy things like look how blunt I am.
Suggestive things.
And then to basically just say I'm a DEA agent for the next 20 minutes.
But no. That was
as loud as she possibly can.
Oh, everything was loud in this movie. Oh my god.
They're hiding out in the bedroom of the bad guy.
And they just let all this information fly.
Yeah. And I look, spoilers for Swordfish. It turns out she was in on it the whole time. Blah blah blah.
Twist,
but
big
still,
twist.
Hugh Jackman is meant to be a pretty smart guy. Not once did he say, "Oh, shut the fuck up."
That's quite loud. What
you're
doing.
being really loud. Do you want to die? What is the matter with you? Shush! Stop talking so loud about it.
Yeah.
It's like
it's very true.
It's just...
But her DEA section is such a you don't see her do any other thing.
She doesn't help.
DEA.
She basically stands there while John Travolta is being like mustache twirling, and just kind of nods like, "Yeah,
that's right.
That's cool.
You cracked that code."
Exactly.
You're not really doing anything, are you?
God.
I am. I'm doing something. I have a bare naked scene later. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She's pretty useless. I never thought of it like that. Okay.
I just think
she doesn't really
it's one of
bring
those.
Anything.
No, she doesn't. It could have been anybody. It literally could have been anybody. And I mean, considering okay, we talk a lot about how we watch movies from the 80s and we're like, look, it was a relic of its time.
Yeah,
we've moved on.
Yeah.
2001, we have Halle Berry, who was paid $500,000 to take her top off.
Yep.
And aside from that, spends a scene of exposition in her underwear.
Yep.
And then gets hung.
She does. She turns into the damsel, which they use against her, and then it's like she's part of the twist at the end. But apart from that, I love how how you were saying it before, they build this as such a sexy thriller. Like how they were talking after the infamous scene, which the only thing that I remember from this movie is the hacking the code blowjob scene. But apart from gun to the head.
Yeah, you're missing a very important element to it.
Yeah.
The element that takes it from creepy to well and truly you are sexually assaulting this person, and we're meant to kind of think it's
sexy, like it's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of
we'll get to that.
badass.
Yeah, but the scene after that where he's in the bathroom washing his face because he just that was pretty intense.
Oh yeah, pretty stressful, I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure. But two guys come in and she kisses him passionately to make it. I'm like, there's no need to do this. You could have just told them to fuck off. There's no need to kiss him. Like, this is just weird. Man.
Sure. If I walk into the male bathroom and I see a man and a woman talking, I assume that they're having a conversation that they maybe want a bit of privacy for.
Yeah.
I don't need to be told to get out.
Yeah.
I don't need to see them making out to go, better give these guys some space. I kind of get it, because if you have to have a conversation that urgently while you're in the male bathroom, it's probably pretty important.
Cool.
Maybe I'll come back.
Give it 10.
Yeah.
I'll go grab a drink. And I'll see you at 10.
I am busting. I'll see if I can use the disabled toilet or something. Maybe
the fucking disabled toilet.
No, if you've got to go, you got to go.
Yeah.
I would never, obviously, have a sit-in in a disabled toilet and spend a good half in there.
Exactly.
Or reading a magazine. But if nature calls urgently and you got to get in and out. But that's it. But they had to have her making out. It had to be this passionate thing.
Because it's a sexy thriller.
Because it's a sexy thriller.
Fuck off.
I've never seen one of these sexy thrillers where the sex is so forced.
Yeah.
Because everything about it that is sexy, and I'm using it in air quotes, makes you kind of lift your eyebrow like, what?
Where did that
why
come
is Hugh
from?
Jackman playing golf in a towel?
Oh, that's awesome.
But
I love that.
That's
because he lives by himself. And I'm like, what a champ. You shouldn't have had him in a towel. They should have had him nude.
But that's what I mean. That's because we're watching this movie. Because I mean, honestly, yes, I get it. He's a bit of a layabout. He wants to shoot golf balls off the top of his caravan.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm wearing clothes for that.
Yeah, fair deal. You're swinging a thing around. You don't want to be swinging everything around.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point.
And then, of course, the infamous.
No, but after... No, wait, hold on that. So swinging golf, and then to make it sexy, she goes, let me do that. And then there's a shot of her hitching up the dress.
Of course. And he's like...
The swivel.
Look at her butt.
What is this for?
And then there's that comment about, I'm not here to suck your dick.
Yeah, and he just throws her out of the trailer.
Jesus, can we just... I got kids here, man.
This is an MA. Oh, whoa.
Was it MA?
I have no idea.
I reckon
think
it would have
was
been an MA.
Yeah.
For,
they were trying to push
for
it.
adult references.
They were like, can we get an MA? Well, this is pretty tame. We'll make it not tame. How about that? How about
if he's getting head while he's trying to do this thing?
Right,
what about if...
Let's talk about this scene.
Okay, no, first of all, though, because this is another thing that makes it a saucy thriller, is that the ex-wife is the queen of the porn, like queen to the porn king's empire, who, and I don't care who you are, no court in the world is going to grant custody of a child.
Even if you have done time
even if
internet fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
Over pornography in the girl's house.
Pornography in the valley where they're clearly getting fucked up on everything too. Yeah. No court is giving her custody. She's going to live in a foster home or with some grandparents, some long-lost uncle and auntie.
Yeah.
She's not staying with them.
Who do wrong things to her anyway. Like, it's just a cat full of shit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's a bad situation.
Yeah, she's going to live with, like, the orphan Annie.
Exactly.
Like, it's that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Miss Annie.
But that's so true. And that was one of the endearing moments of the, like, I thought, how could this get in? I totally forgot about the porn X. I totally forgot about that. And then when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is kind of I don't mind this part. This is kind of, like, because it's so ridiculous, it's almost believable. I'm like, that's of course.
It gets to that kind of point.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's a movie written by, like, the world's biggest 90s crime thriller fan. You know what I mean? It's like someone who saw Pulp Fiction and went, oh, it's almost badass enough. But imagine if, like, you know what I mean?
I can top that.
I can, exactly.
I can top that.
I can make this more hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, everything is just, like, so pushed to the limit of extremes that it just becomes absolutely ridiculous.
It does. It becomes laughable. What was the scene where I really I laughed out loud, I think twice, at the movie, not with the movie.
I had a few genuine laugh out loud moments, one of which was when they bring Hugh Jackman into, like, the workshop room where they've got all the computers set up.
Oh, God, this was it.
And so we've basically got 5 computer screens with a screensaver running on them.
Yeah.
With, like, a little circular thing going around. And he goes,
makes it like the Dell
exactly.
symbol.
And he just goes, impressive, huh?
And I'm like, it's not. No. It's so fucking not. You're showing your age.
You can buy those monitors for about $32 from JB Hi-Fi. You want to buy 5 of them and set up...
That's fine.
Like,
you can
set up a screensaver that
all
just
you've got is a cable that connects them all. Like, that's it.
That made me laugh
funny.
out loud.
Like that moment, and then that is backed with a hacking montage.
Oh, he's fucking hacking montage.
I think there's nothing worse. There's nothing, you can't show your age more in a film than showing a hacking montage. The fact, and you can tell that Hugh doesn't really know what he's doing.
I was about to say,
either.
Hugh Jackman plays on a keyboard like the Keyboard Cat, the YouTube video.
Exactly. He's doing a lot of these. He's like, I'm going to,
and then just
slapping
bashes his hands on the keyboard. Like, it's
and he's like, oh,
he just pushes a claw down.
Yeah.
Just like...
throws off his headphones. He's like, oh, I missed it. I'm like, what is going on in this movie?
But this is the problem with so many of these movies, is that everyone thinks it's cool and fucking badass to be a hacker. Hacking is boring as shit. You sit down and you're just basically reading code, and it's dry. And these guys are not cool. Like, they're not, I blame the Matrix for this shit as well. Like, because that, everyone was like, oh,
everyone wants to be a hacker.
Everyone wanted to be a hacker because hackers, didn't really make hacking cool.
No, yes, it did.
Everyone was kind of...
Everyone thought, I'm going to be a hacker and I'm going to rollerblade. I'm going to go to bat for hackers.
I love
hackers. I bought the Magnet. I loved it so much.
I would love to watch Hackers again. I have not seen it since I was a teenager. I'm sure it's fun.
I'll go to bat for hackers. It was awesome. But yeah, I love the fact that the montage starts with the camera following the power cables through the tunnel. I was like, what is this? Like, what the fuck is that meant to show?
And then it ends on, like, this old reel-to-reel tape. It's like, we're going through all these things to get to this, like, 1960s device.
Jesus. God, it was funny.
Yeah, God, that montage. And
that was so good.
But this is what I'm saying. The problem is that they have to make hacking seem interesting.
Yeah.
So they give us all these terrible, like, digital displays that we, as dumb people who don't understand hacking, can then relate to. Like, you see that little cube thing where and all the little pieces are joining up, and it becomes obvious to us, he's got to fill each of those spots. Cube. And so he's there doing his thing where he's like, come on, baby, come on, come on.
Yeah. And anyone who even knows remotely anything about computers, which you would do having a phone in your pocket, you know that whatever's on the screen does not make any sense.
No, none. Do you know I read that they didn't have anything on the screens in the studio? It was all blank screens.
Of course.
And then they CGI'd everything on later. Is that a normal practice, do you think?
You're talking about the blocks. Is that what you're talking about?
No, anytime they had a computer screen, it was a blank screen. They filmed it as a blank screen and then CGI'd stuff on top later.
I know it's hard to film a screen. They have to do something specific to film whatever screen it is.
Okay. I wonder, like when you're watching movies from like war games, for instance.
Oh yeah. Or Tron.
Do you reckon they were programmed? They programmed in what they wanted to be on the computer and then just filmed it?
Oh yeah. Oh maybe.
Yeah.
And then just kind of rotoscoped whatever the fuck it was going to be on that screen.
I reckon they maybe just did it and filmed it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you know how you get sometimes when you're watching, you get the reflection?
Yeah.
How's the CGI reflection on the ball bearing?
Oh, Jesus. Let's talk about this scene. Because this is a scene that me and Tys have seen so much because of the famous... Do you know DVD? See how good a movie at home can be. Shh, just don't sit there. Like, literally, that's how it ended.
Yeah. This is your... What is it?
This is DVD.
No, it was... this is...
Interactive menus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Interactive menus.
And I'm like, and it shows, like, cast.
Yeah, remember they tried to palm the interactive menus off as a special feature? And you're like, no. That's not a special feature.
Please that's
don't.
just a menu. Yeah. But that was that. So the scene that we're talking about is when the bomb goes off and the ball bearings go everywhere, which in 2001 was badass. I remember seeing that and going, how did they do that? Look, and now looking at it, I go, I could do better on my iPhone.
Yeah, look, you're not wrong. It's very easily achievable these days. I still think it is a reasonably well put together shot.
Oh, sure.
Like as purely as a technical kind of showcase, I think it kind of works.
But you
because
can see where their cuts are.
Yeah, for sure. Of course you can. But I think it's not a terrible idea either to say, okay, in order to show the extent of an explosion, instead of just doing the thing that a lot of action movies do, which is they film it from 6 different angles and kind of just intercut it. Let's actually like show it kind of
it's effects rather than
in action.
The fire.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea. You're right. It looks kind of ridiculous now because I almost can't watch it without imagining the soundtrack to that fucking This Is DVD.
Just don't sit there.
Thing, which was at the start of every DVD from like 2000 to 2006-ish, I reckon.
It was the one that was there before. Ready for this? Oh yeah,
100%.
Piracy is bad.
That's the song that I always sing when I mean to sing anything to do with the DVD song, because I end up going and that's the piracy song. Yeah, you're right.
Fuck, I hate
You wouldn't
that
steal
song.
a car.
You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a hat off a policeman and then give it back to him.
Well, I mean that's just silly.
I'm doing the riff off IT Crowd. Whoever's seen IT Crowd, they rip that off and they go and they say, "You wouldn't steal a hat from a cop. You wouldn't give it back to him, would you?" It's so funny.
But yeah, so it's not a great.
It's all right.
It hangs around now. It's fine, but it's kind of like if you look at it in 2001 and kind of go, look, at least you tried something. Exactly. I wish they had just kind of. This is the kind of movie where it's built around dumb shit ideas, and then the plot just kind of falls around this. So they wanted to do... It's like, okay, we want to film this really great explosion. I've got this idea. Apparently, Dominic Sena had used a similar effect in some of the commercials that he'd filmed. So it wasn't like he saw The Matrix one day and went, let's do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like in order to make it effective, there's the thing... It's not just the explosions, it's the ball bearings as well.
It is.
So they had to manipulate a way to have an explosion happen that wasn't just a bomb goes off. So they wanted to try and do something good. So they had to manipulate the hostage situation that goes awry.
Right.
But then it's similar to the thing at the end where it's like, hey, we can helicopter a bus. It's like, well, how do we fit this in this fucking movie? How do we do this?
This was not a good scene. This was a very, very bad scene.
I was just, can this movie just be over? Like, by the time we got to that point, I was done, and I was just like, come on. Can we just get to the end? Please get to the end. And I'd forgotten about the twist, if you will,
Oh, yeah.
Which is terrible.
It is terrible.
It's absolutely terrible because it relies on the fact that it is dependent on Hugh Jackman firing a rocket launcher. One of the things that I would assume is a bit of a long shot. Do you know what I mean? And because
would assume, yes, and you would be correct to assume that.
It requires him to be so mad that they're getting away with it that he sees a rocket launcher
on fire.
And goes, I'm going to fucking shoot him with this rocket launcher.
Exactly. And it's so obvious when it happens, when the guy puts, because
Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones is in this thing for a hot minute because he was a thing. But yeah, Vinnie Jones is like, I have a rocket launcher, which is so obvious.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's going to come into play later.
And just
like, why are you doing that?
So it was a deliberate choice for them to leave the rocket launcher behind and hope that Hugh Jackman shot the helicopter.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sure it wouldn't be easy to shoot a rocket. Like, it doesn't look easy. Like
he's got good aim.
Clearly.
For a hacker.
He played golf.
It all comes back. But he wasn't great at golf. Jinx was better. Not Jinx. She's not Jinx. She's Jinx in Die Another Day.
We should
What's
do
her
that.
name?
We should do
Ginger.
Ginger. Right. Storm.
Storm hit a mean CGI golf ball. Did you see the swing on that
She
thing?
did. And I was like, what were you aiming for?
Looks like that bit in Superman where he throws the ball. He kicks the ball really far and it just keeps going.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of scaffolding to get that moment to happen because surely the right, he's already kind of treading a thin line here. He wants to make sure that he can get back and see his daughter.
Yeah.
I don't think shooting a helicopter with a rocket launcher is the right choice at that moment. I think, buddy,
maybe not.
You leave it to them. They're only flying away in a helicopter. Yeah. It's not like they're disappearing to another continent.
Exactly. They're going to have to land. They're going to have some point.
Police are pretty good
sure,
with this stuff.
Yeah.
I think they had the helicopters of their own almost ready to go anyway.
Yeah, they would have.
They probably would be able to chase
sure
them.
It'd be fine.
I think
and
it'd be
also,
okay.
You're a civilian.
Yeah.
And you just killed some people.
That's it. They don't like when people do that.
No, I'm pretty sure you'll go to jail.
And I love John Cheadle's at the end. Like, all right, you go home and see your daughter. We'll be in touch. It's like, do you mean in touch about the whole thing with you?
That's going to happen.
Shooting down a helicopter
and the helicopter
with a
landing
launcher.
on people? Like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. God, that's funny.
And I love that their great getaway is just that they snuck behind the helicopter down an emergency exit.
Horrible. As if you can not see that. Come on.
He's so preoccupied with finding the rocket launcher that he forgets.
He's like, I forgot to look at what's happening.
Maybe just look, yeah.
God, that's funny.
Can you explain to me? Because I don't think the movie completely states this.
Yep.
So, John Travolta's character.
Oh, here we go.
Gabriel.
Yep. A film icon.
Gabriel's a major cinephile, guys. All I can think of is that Lonely Island. Michael Bolton's a real cinephile.
Yep.
Because I didn't need any of that shit, and at the
start you're talking about.
No, but he does it a few. Like, he's so pop culture savvy. He's talking, and Houdini's not pop culture, but he's so entertainment savy.
Yeah,
like
he's meant to, this is suaveness. He's meant to have that suave.
Like he's dissing on fucking Sidney Lumet. Like, and I'm like, hey, excuse me.
Pretty sure that's a Dog Day Afternoon's a fucking rad film. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
None of your suggestions are going to fix Dog Day Afternoon.
Exactly.
That movie does not need fixing.
Exactly.
Yeah. But and he's obsessed with Houdini, and he's like, oh, it's all about misdirection. And I'm like, fucking, don't even give me this shit. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Okay, so here's the thing. So the dead body that looks like him.
Yep.
So he's assuming the identity of terrorists. Is that what he's doing?
I think so.
So he was like an ex-secret agent.
Yes. Who has made himself up to look like
he gets
people.
a fuck ton of plastic surgery to look like certain people.
Yep.
And then assumes their identity, goes and commits a terrorist act against foreign enemies and scares them off.
Yep. And I don't even know. I've literally written what is the plot. I don't know what's going on. Because no. What is Travolta's endgame? Doing it for what freedom? What do you keep talking about? I'm doing it for people's freedom. What are you talking about? Like
none of that is even remotely believable.
Like it doesn't make any sense. But yes, the scene that you're talking about is when he goes to the senator or whoever,
Sam Shepard,
who decides to just put on sunnies
in a better movie than
whenever you want. Like, it's so funny. But he goes to him and says, "We started this thing. I've done so many things for you. I've had to changed my identity so many times. I'm like, hang on a minute, you can't just drop this in.
That's what I mean. This feels like good information.
There's a backstory here that would make this movie better.
Like,
but you're not going to tell us.
Where's the scene of the FBI guys throwing a wad of files down with photos of all the different people that John Travolta has assumed the identity of?
He provides.
And so that we all go, and someone kind of, we all click on at the same time. It's like, holy shit, he's actually been doing some really fucked up shit. Like, he's made a mess of himself in order to achieve. Like, it's mentioned in passing.
Yeah.
And then he just shows up at the end looking exactly like John Travolta with just a bad blonde fucking hairdo.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, is that the extent that you're going to? Is that really all you're doing?
He looks like he's just about to do, what was the movie? I can
Speed Kills.
No, the movie at the very end, he's got that grey look. He's doing it's called a civil.
Oh, Civil Action.
That's the one. Literally going off to film that the next day. Like, you look like that film.
But if they're going to, they go into all this fuss, they have the dead body.
I know.
And
use those things. It could have been better.
And surely, in order to sell that conceit, shouldn't he have turned around at the end and had some prosthetics on his face or something? Do they think we were so dumb that if it didn't look exactly like John Travolta, we would go, oh, who's that guy?
Yeah, exactly. Something.
This movie is dumb. It is dumb, this movie.
But it could have had potential as well.
It absolutely could have.
What you just said, and also at the start in that scene where he's throwing around Sidney Lumet. Is it Sidney Lumet?
Sidney Lumet.
Yeah. Dog Day Afternoon and all that stuff. You're like, oh, this could be good. This could be good.
Look, I'd be honest with you. I hate that speech.
You hate that speech?
It. Absolutely hated it. And because it's so hard to do that and not come off like a fucking wanker.
And he did.
And he did immediately. And I was like,
it was the cigar. I swear to God, it was the cigar.
There's so much cigar smoking in this movie. People love their fucking stogies in this movie.
A lot of smoking.
Where's Arnie?
And it needs to be fat, not whatever you're smoking. It looks weird. God damn.
Yeah, you're right. There is the potential for a smart adult sci-fi, tech thriller in this.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works. Like, I'm struggling to think of an example because they all date so badly.
They date very quickly.
But maybe something like The Firm, which...
Isn't that more
it's a legal thriller?
But
it obviously has, tech elements to it. Because
it's definitely not Lawnmower Man.
No, Lawnmower Man, that's the example of going the opposite direction where you watch it now and you're like, well, that is ridiculous. I can't think of a good tech thriller. Jesus.
A good tech thriller. What's nowadays? A good tech thriller nowadays is Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I mean that's using tech in a spy scenario. Listeners, what's a good tech thriller? I don't mean like, oh, the net, it's hilarious, you got to watch it. I mean, it's genuinely
an actual good film.
Yeah, because I think the problem is that they have no longevity at all.
You can't. Like, it's not gonna hold up.
I don't think it needs to hold up if you do it right. I think if you don't lean so much into how cool is this technology, because every time they look at each other like, isn't this the coolest? I laugh my ass off because it's not the coolest. And it was never really even the coolest in 2001.
No. Having TVs linked up, dude, we were doing that with Halo.
Because, yeah, exactly. GoldenEye.
Yeah.
GoldenEye 64.
Exactly.
Because we could see that it was movie technology anyway. Like, we weren't idiots.
That didn't exist, yeah, exactly.
Is Minority Report a tech thriller?
Oh.
That's sci-fi. That's future.
It's a bit sci-fi, yeah.
I don't know.
Matrix? No.
Same thing, though, because it's
But Matrix goes retro.
It's
like
fiction
what Tank
technology.
and Dozer use is kind of...
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
But I want the technology to be feasible. This movie has a problem with the feasibility of its technology because some of it's so ridiculous. But at the same time, with a bit of a stretch, you can be like, yeah, look, I guess when you transfer money, you get to see a little map with red dots, like you're Indiana Jones flying around. Maybe.
So good. Let's do Indiana Jones soon.
Yeah,
let's please.
About that let's please.
Will we do Temple of Doom? What will we do? Last Crusade.
I mean, Last Crusade is my favourite, so I don't know if I want to start with that.
It's my favourite as well, though. We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that. I haven't even opened my notebook. That's how much I've just been ranting about the shit in this movie.
You open your notebook.
All right, I'm cracking out the notebook. What have I got?
I love that one of my notes is bad wigs, frosted tips, random nude. That's all I've written.
I mean, that should be the fucking blurb on the back of this DVD cover.
That's it. Oh, my God. I remember one scene, like in the bus scene, where a couple are running and there's fire behind them, and I remember it being like it looked cheap. Like it looked.
There's a couple of really bad, fire shots when the helicopter explodes. It looks like a Sharknado movie. Special effects. It's bad.
It was.
Because
what's going on there?
Because we can make a good explosion in 2001. Maybe that's when they were like, we cannot spend any more money on this piece of garbage.
That doesn't make any sense. Explosions we were doing them in the 80s and they look fucking great.
Yeah, exactly. It's because they didn't actually practically do anything.
Yeah.
And so when it came to the actually doing the special effects, someone at one point went, guys, this is really expensive. You want this helicopter to explode? We can do it the easy way,
or
the hard way.
We're going to have to do it this way.
Yeah, the hard way costs about $4 million. The easy way costs about $25,000.
Exactly. What are we doing?
Yeah,
look, we'll do it
the easy way.
The easy way.
What's that from?
Back to the Future.
Thank you.
The easy way.
The easy way. Look, my notes are garbage.
Mom, is that you?
I didn't get many notes. I do like the way Don Cheadle says, "Eat a dick."
That was awesome. Don Cheadle kind of. I love Don Cheadle. I think he's great in most things.
Yeah.
I've always liked him. But he just didn't have he just didn't.
He doesn't need to be in this movie. It's the same thing. It's the cop role in this movie is thankless.
Yeah, there was no character to him though.
No, there wasn't.
There was no character to anyone. But I was like, what are you like? What are you about? Tell me something. Give me something.
It'd be not. Well, to me, it seems like he's like they try to do that thing where they're like, he's a badass cop. He's on the edge.
Was he?
Because he fucking punches up that lawyer, and it's like, dude, chill out, man.
Oh yeah.
And that's when he tells him to eat a dick, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Eat a dick.
It's such a great. It's an insult that I enjoy.
I love it.
That I did not expect at that point.
Yeah.
And so that's
it kind of came out of nowhere.
I'm like, all right, Don Cheadle, you tell him.
That's right.
His suit is the most 2000s thing I've ever seen.
Travolta's?
No.
Oh.
Don Cheadle's.
Oh, really?
Every cop in 2000s movies from 99 to 2003 wore that suit. That weird brown / green with like an orange tie.
Everything had green in it. Like Travolta's black on green. I was like, oh Jesus.
And the obnoxious green filter. There was one like
and I dig the green filter. Only because I know I'm watching a 2000s movie.
It's fine when it's like when it just kind of colors the background or maybe just puts kind of like a subtle hue over the entire film.
Yeah.
There's that scene where Hugh Jackman and John Travolta are arguing about something and they're like down in the basement. I think it's as he's about to walk him into the secret lair that they have. And you can literally see that someone has just grabbed a green lamp and held it to Jackman's face because it's just green all over. Yeah, all over one side of his face.
Yeah.
Like, what's providing that light? What down in this underground tunnel is throwing off this green light? That is something that I think they just stole from The Matrix. That is something that I think they just went, that green tinge in The Matrix was cool.
Do you know who also I like green light? He does it well, was Man of Fire. I know I keep bringing this up for some reason. Man of Fire has a slight green tinge
Doesn't
to
he
it.
use different colours based on the environment that they're in?
Yeah, but it's the nightclub that he goes to.
Sure.
It is the green tinge. And he does that. I think he does that well.
But this is the thing. The green tinge in The Matrix is very deliberately chosen.
There's a reason.
It's because the code of The Matrix is green, and so it's a subtle kind of almost subconscious way to make the audience aware that we're in The Matrix at a certain point.
Yeah.
This has no point at all. It's just there because someone saw it was cool in something else.
2001.
Because it's 2001.
And things are cool.
And things are cool.
Everything is cool in 2001, man. Because the Millennium Bug didn't get us.
Yeah.
It didn't eat us. And we're very cool.
That's it. And we're unstoppable until about a couple of months later when they weren't.
Yeah, things weren't cool.
Yeah. This is a movie that, oh man, you could not make this movie 6 months later.
No, because you're literally talking about terrorists, and the word terrorists just didn't exist.
And look,
for
exactly.
years.
There was a patch where you just couldn't make movies like this. But no. I also think the way that the plot incorporates, like that Gabriel's all overall plan is terrorism for the good.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like, oh man, that is.
You're walking a fine line.
You
there,
are
fella.
not getting away with that shit. Even like months after this movie came out.
Yeah, years. Because there were films I remember going through for ages, and there were a lot of films that were shelved specifically for their content.
Yeah,
and they were ready to go. We're talking about films that are booked that are in the can.
Yeah, yeah.
And they came out and then went, well, what do you got? And we got this, and this, and like, yeah, well, you can't have any of that.
Yeah.
So
and look, like fair enough. Like, you know, it's
the world needed to grieve.
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, 100%. And you know, we were in a landscape where it was just. We couldn't take entertainment value out of that because it was way too close to home, and that's completely understandable.
We need to focus on some comedies, man.
Yeah. But yeah, God, maybe this is why this movie doesn't really have the lasting kind of... Because you think about it, this movie... So this was a year after Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
From the same director.
Yeah.
People still talk about Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's true.
And...
No one... I've never heard anyone
people
mention
do not mention Swordfish anymore. No. Like, it's just... It's not talked about. And look, Gone in 60 Seconds, I would say, is easily a better film.
Yeah. 100%. Way more enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The enjoyment factor is way... And the cheese factor is much... No, the cheese factor is higher, but the cringe factor is much lower.
Yeah.
Like, these 2001 isms that just make you roll your eyes are actually pretty much absent from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah. There's a couple of lines that I roll at, but not as... I do that in... some movies.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what's super 2001? Hugh Jackman's daughter's outfit.
That was awesome.
Oh my God.
That was so good. I love that. Because that you literally tell that she's emulating what her mum gives her, and her mum is a porn artist in the 2001s. And I'm like, yep, 100%. And she's rocking a Nokia 2110.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh,
that
man.
thing's probably still kicking around. You know it. You know, that thing's working like a charm.
Hasn't lost a day.
Yeah. It looked like she was kind of...
Because it doesn't have any fucking social media on it. That's why.
No, that's why. That's why it's still lasting.
Snake.
That's all you need, really.
You're a winner if you got Snake.
I like that how her outfit was like every accessory that was cool. Like, she had the vest with the fluff.
Yep.
Then she also had the kind of yellow tinted glasses. Then she also had like some kind of headbandy thing going on.
Yeah. And the backpack.
Yeah.
She had the backpack rocking. It was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She is. Did
she have a Walkman? Was it a Tyson's
Hello,
dog
Sadie.
has decided to sit on his lap in movies, Mike.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hello. Yes.
What was I going to say?
Did she have a Walkman?
Did she have a Walkman? Did she have a Discman?
No, I don't remember a Discman.
Damn.
I mean, I would hazard a guess and say she had one because she would like to be listening to anything else other than what was happening in the living room, I'm sure.
Oh, that's just sad. You know what? Maybe this movie could be done today, but it'd be done so much better and so much darker. Like that.
I think that's...
That whole... Because I really liked the...
That's part of the problem. In that there's darkness here, but the movie's not taking it seriously. The movie is inserting darkness because of its cool factor.
Isn't this fucking cool and extreme? She's a porn artist, man.
Whereas
she's doing drugs. I'm like, all right, let's pump the brakes a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Pump the brakes. Why the fuck couldn't she just be like a normal, like just an ex-wife who actually doesn't like the fact that her ex-husband was a hacker?
Yeah.
That's all it needs to be.
Because that's boring, Tyson. This is 2001, man.
And, you know, maybe at the end of it all, instead of him being the grand savior to his daughter, they just get to see each other again on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like, and they actually kind of make the most of their very kind of unorthodox family unit.
No one's paying a ticket to see that, man. You got to have the ex-wife heavily on drugs. She was heavily on drugs.
And the principal of the school is like, oh, is your mum coming to collect you today? Like, how many times do you reckon that's happened? I would hazard a guess and say at least 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Like, she's not turning up to pick her up.
Clearly, at that point, you're like, hi. Look, we're going to call child services.
Yeah.
We just
your mum's not here again?
Again?
Yeah. And the time she is there, she falls out of the fucking Corvette with a vodka bottle in hand. She's like, get in the car!
Yeah. She's not even getting out of the car. She's honking the horn. Oi!
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if she got out of the car, it was an accident because she dropped her vodka
bottle.
bottle.
She fell out. Right. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh, my vodka. Jesus.
Exactly. So yeah, she's way too casual about asking her that kid where her mum is.
Where's mum? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to make a phone call. Why don't you just stay here for a second?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a bad day.
This fucking movie.
This movie's great.
I'm retracting my rating. I think I'm going in. I'm going to rate it lower. I think after talking about it,
I love it.
The fun stuff is almost evaporated for me now.
I don't know why you've got a 2 in there, Tice, man.
Because I think I laughed a lot, but now I'm mad. Now,
You're mad?
No,
really?
well, no, not like actually in the grand scheme of things. I'm not mad, but do you know what I mean? It's kind of like at the time I was enjoying it and laughing.
Yeah.
But now talking about it, I'm just kind of like frustrated. Like, fuck this movie.
There's nothing entertaining about this. The only reason that you would watch Swordfish from 2001 is if you're doing a podcast.
Yes,
that's the only reason.
And because you're one of those people that think it's going to be funny to talk about Swordfish.
Swordfish. I think everyone should get this. I think this should. If you're did you? Oh no, you can't stream the shit out of this, can you? I had to rent this sucker.
Yes,
Fuck.
Yes, that was a sad day in my life.
That was a sad day.
But
don't rent it.
No, look, it's not worth it. But I feel like nearly every man and his dog owned a copy of this DVD for a little while.
Oh, you reckon? Oh, I
but
never
then
did.
never worried about it. Yeah, gave it away at the first possible opportunity.
Someone said, "Oh, they stole my sword." I had a house party and someone stole my swordfish. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what a bummer. No, do you know when you're like, if you're looking for used DVDs or anything like that? Look, I will let the people in on a secret. Okay. Is that I do kind of look through eBay and Gumtree for people who are selling bulk lots of DVDs.
Nice.
Generally, they're saying, here's 400 DVDs. I'm selling them for $100. Potentially could sell them a smaller amount for a small price. Yeah. So
$10, you get 5.
Exactly. So there's been times where I've gone to people's houses.
Yeah.
And just looked through their DVD collection.
You sound like a weirdo now.
Picked up 5 or 10 DVDs for $10.
Nice.
There was my favorite one of all time was this person had
5 copies.
No, like really kind of cool 80s action stuff.
Really?
And I was like, wow, where did you get this? And like they had no idea, they didn't care. I got like The Exterminator, which is that wacky movie about the cop that decides he's gonna like gun a flamethrower and take to the streets.
That's awesome.
Time Bomb, which was this Michael Bean action film from the 80s that was really cool.
Yeah.
A couple of others that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I think I got like Hard Target that day as well.
Oh, I need to watch Hard Target. I still haven't seen it.
So I do that from time to time. But Swordfish is one of those DVDs that any time you see a photo of a bulk lot of DVDs, Swordfish is in there because
100%.
Nobody gives two shits about this movie anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
They will happily give this away. If you could pay someone to take it off your hands for you, they would.
Yeah. I'll give you $10. I don't have it, but I'll give you $10 to take it.
Exactly.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Who have we missed? Have we missed talking about anyone?
We haven't really talked about their performances. I don't particularly enjoy John Travolta in this. I think this is
he's done way better.
This is his bad villain tendencies. This is when he takes what he can do really well and learns the wrong lessons from it.
Yeah. He's just dialing it in, if anything. Because if you look at good villain John Travolta, which is like Broken Arrow and
Face Off.
You're getting prime John Travolta. Like, he's really good at it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. Like, he relishes the evil roles. You watch both of those movies, he's over the top to a degree, but there's just something...
it still suits it. It's still great.
There's something that suits it really well. There's something that feels like he's not... It's not gross, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
Like, you don't watch him and kind of go, oh, you're just... Ugh,
yeah.
I'm just not interested in being around you.
Yeah.
Like, it's the charisma that he lacks in this that he has in abundance in Face Off and Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
And that's really important, because if you want to pull off a villain like this, you have to be charismatic. I don't think he's charismatic in the slightest in this. I think he just comes across as...
His script isn't helping him either, though.
No, the script is not helping. That fucking haircut is not helping.
Oh, Jesus. And the soul patch.
Yeah, and the soul patch, exactly.
Jesus, that's bad.
And so he ends up just kind of looking like a slightly overweight...
He does. Like a really bad...
guy that would go to the Metro.
Yeah. Or like a really bad real estate agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or investment guy.
The guy who owns like...
really, it's a used car salesman. Really,
yeah,
that's what it is. And
all he has is like Datsuns.
And I don't particularly think Hugh Jackman is much better.
I think he's miscast.
I think he's hideously miscast.
He does not look like a hacker at all.
But I mean, they can't cast like a fat weirdo in this role.
No, they can't. But even
because they've shot themselves in the foot because they've tried to make it so sexy that As soon as you put like, anybody else in this role, like suddenly it feels more realistic. But then the bits with the blowjob and Halle Berry kind of being sexy with him suddenly becomes so much more disgusting. And
if it's a fat nerd dude, that's a good point. Jesus, that's full on. We're not winning. Sadie wants to play.
Play with this. Go on. Play with this. Ow. This one. Okay. And so also his performance is...
It's just I don't know. It's not great.
It's not great, and he doesn't know how to balance it either. He doesn't know how to balance like
he does father really well. He does that really well.
Yeah.
There's a moment where he hugs her when she's in the car when they first see each other because they haven't seen each other for ages. Yeah. And there were some feels there.
And I was like he's tearing up when he's saying goodbye to her.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are doing way too much acting for this movie.
I know. You're hitting your marks.
You do
not
need to be going this hard.
I know,
buddy.
which is great though because you're giving something.
But then I'm still not at a point where, and I don't think Hugh Jackman was at that point yet either, where he can say stuff like, let's get the fuck out of here or something like that and convince me that he's ever said that in his life.
In his life,
And that's a big problem because he's meant to be kind of... Well, he's meant to have broken the law and done it kind of willfully.
Yeah, he's done it on his own accord.
Yeah.
So he's gonna.
Although they do that dodgy thing where they try to justify the fact that he was committing a crime because whatever system they were trying to hack, he was a breach of privacy.
Oh, that's right.
And so he's the noble hacker, and it's just kind of come on, no, why you don't need to do that?
Yeah. Don't have that in there.
Why not actually just make him someone who fucked up?
Yeah.
Because he's meant to, like, when they go to the montage, he clearly loves it. Like, because they're going to all lengths to show how much it's a party for him.
Yeah.
And he's drinking red wine.
I know. It's such... Well, you can't have Red Bull, or Jolt Cola.
Oh, Jolt.
There's a throwback.
Yeah.
You like that shit?
I do like that shit.
Yeah, we've talked about Halle Berry. Hughes miscast. Don Cheadle's not giving his all.
He's got fuck all to do.
Yeah, it's not that good. We haven't really talked about the blowjob scene, Tys. We skimmed it.
Let's save. Well, if we might as well save it till last, then I guess.
All right,
it's the end.
Yeah.
I think the problem with it is that now, in different eyes, in 2019 eyes, it's no longer even.
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy. It's not kind of extreme badass. It's not anything except really inappropriate. That's
fucking
being used for entertainment value in this big Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah. It's like, look at this. Look how cool it is. We're going to have Hugh Jackman hack into the FBI while he's being held at gunpoint by Vinnie Jones while also receiving a blowjob.
Yeah, and
while John Travolta is this far away from his face, I'm like, this is awkward.
Look, we let a lot of things slide in these kind of movies.
Sure.
Action movies where torture is involved and things like that. There's a lot of things that you let slide and you kind of like think of all the movies that we've seen where we've seen a female character be raped and it's used as like a catalyst for them
to do something.
For the good guy to then avenge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Look, I think we're at a point where we've kind of moved past that now because that was something that we all realized is not really anything we want to show.
To make it,
as just an excuse for the good guy to get mad.
Yeah.
Because that completely diminishes the suffering of the character that's happening to.
Getting raped,
we're getting really serious now, and I didn't want to get super serious about Swordfish, but it's technically rape, what's going on with him. And I don't ever want to see it in this context, in any context.
But it was super sexy in 2001, man.
But that's the problem. And this is that whole thing that we've all had to slowly come around to, is that idea that, if it happens to a man, it's like, oh, come on, suck it up, buddy.
Yeah, come on, man, you're getting a blowjob.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no,
it's not that bad.
Hang on a minute.
You're still getting your dick sucked.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that we need completely removed from our society.
Exactly.
And so this movie is kind of cashing in on that.
100%.
And that it's like, it's sexy and cool and dangerous because he has to do this hacking while he's getting a blowjob.
And we're like, well, no.
It's like, no.
This is, he's being held at gunpoint and doing something that he doesn't want to do, and just because you're doing a sexual act to him doesn't make it okay. Not good.
It makes it worse. I mean, I think, and let's be honest, the scene would work absolutely fine if he just had 60 seconds to hack this thing with a gun to his head.
With a gun to his head. 100%.
100% would get away with exactly what you're doing. Or, be more creative and say, that drink you just had has a poison in it that will act in 60 seconds unless we give you this.
Exactly.
We give you this antidote. We're not going to give you this antidote unless you hack this.
Yeah.
Oh, P.S., it's also going to make your heart rate jump to 250. So go.
Yeah.
And suddenly,
Creative.
suddenly it's done.
Yeah.
We've got it. We've got the full adrenaline lift. We've got all that kind of stuff. And nobody has to give inappropriate blowjobs to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's true.
Yeah. And it as the scene went on, I think I started, first of all, I was laughing because I was like, holy shit, I remember this. This was so ridiculous.
Right.
And then it all kind of...
This is the only scene I remember.
Dawned on me and I kind of went, oh no, it's not even cool to really laugh at this anymore.
No.
It's just fucked.
Yeah. I was just laughing at Vinnie Jones because Vinnie Jones is bad in this as well.
He's garbage. But was
really
Vinnie Jones
bad.
ever any good?
He was good in Lock, Stock.
Yeah, he's good at being a thug, like a British thug. That's pretty much his bread and butter.
That was his stick, yeah.
And that's what he can get away with.
He hasn't really flexed. Look, he was good in Lock, Stock, but he was his acting chops aren't great because that's because he was a footballer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Soccer player, thank you.
Sorry. No football, man.
No.
No?
Well, I suppose they do use their feet more than in other games.
And more people watch soccer in the world than AFL.
Yes, it's true. I think that might wrap us up, Nicholas.
I like it.
You got anything else you want to say about Swordfish?
No, man.
No, I have just changed my rating.
Yep.
I'm now down to 1.5 stars.
Everyone should definitely give it a miss.
Look, I'd say... I don't know. I'd say watch it almost to appreciate the ridiculousness of it.
Of where we are now as well.
And to, just to acknowledge that how far we've come. That was a pretty awful patch of time for a lot of things. I think music, fashion... It was all a bit rough in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
there's obviously good stuff.
We were finding
There's always
feet,
good stuff.
Of course.
But it was...
2001 gave us, Donnie Darko.
Yeah, exactly. There were some great movies released then, but I think this kind of movie thankfully doesn't exist anymore. And it's movies like Swordfish that are the reason why it doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
So I think we can appreciate that, and it's worth having a watch just for the sake of it.
2001 gave us Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. We should do that.
Oh, God. I have not seen that since I saw it at the cinema.
Me neither. Oh, bring it on.
Oh, God, that would be interesting.
God, that was bad.
Hey, Nick.
That's a hard watch, Tys.
Should we move on to our next segment?
Which is...
What did you watch this week?
I like it.
Do you want to go first?
I can.
Go for it.
What did I watch? Oh, shit. All right. Tyson, I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Awesome.
Getting a lot of mixed ratings this film,
right?
From the people that I'm talking to. I don't listen to reviewers. I listen to my friends and see what they say.
Okay.
I even have there's a lovely girl who I work with who this was her first Tarantino film.
Wow.
That she'd ever seen.
Ever.
And I after I saw it, I was like, whoa, maybe not start with that. Only because this is a film that Tarantino has put out that is clearly for film lovers. Normal people, that's kind of mean to say, but people who are just in to watch a movie, maybe not going to watch a 2.5 hour sit-in of driving scenes that don't really go anywhere.
I've heard there's quite a lot of driving scenes.
He loves his CGI backgrounds, which is great, and I love them as well. But yeah, for someone who's not really in for a Tarantino film like that, it's going to be a rough trot. On that, my overall of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I'm definitely going to watch it again. There was largely everything. This is going to make me sound like a massive misogynist, but everything with Margot Robbie in it could have been taken out, and it would have been a much better movie.
Okay,
yeah, which is not great, and only because her character and her storyline doesn't add anything to the story. But a lot of what you kind of have to look at in this film is you have 3 sets of stories, just like Pulp Fiction, just like a lot of Jackie Brown. You're getting different stories, and they're all on the same plane.
Sure.
So they do interact with one another, but they're very different stories.
Okay.
So you can have one movie that is Margot Robbie's character, which is, what is the actress's name?
Sharon Tate.
Thank you. So you've got the Sharon Tate story.
Yep.
You've got the Leo's character, the budding actor.
Yep.
The comeback of him, and then you've got the Charles Manson family side of it and what's going to happen there. So you've got three different little planes of what's happening, and then Brad Pitt is my favorite bit of that whole movie.
Sure.
Like his character, what he does, everything that happens, the mystery around what actually happened to his his wife, what's going on there. They don't explain it. To me, they don't need to. It's just, a bit of backstory that doesn't need filling, which is great.
Sure.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It was fun for me.
All over though. It's not your favorite.
Oh, it's not. It's no way. It's not even coming close to Kill Bill 1 or even Reservoir Dogs. Like it's on the lower end of the spectrum, but it was good. It was definitely good. Out of all of them, how many? Is this the 9th? This is the 9th film.
I think so, yeah.
So this would be my number 8.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, it's good. I'll still watch it, but it's on par with Jackie Brown for me as far as all the other films that he's done. I will watch all of them again before watching this again. That doesn't take away from any of them. I think they're all great in some aspect. But if someone says, do you want to watch a Tarantino movie? I'm going to go to those 8 first before I watch that again. Yeah. But I liked it. I really liked it.
I'm really, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to get to see it.
Yeah. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch it. I'll definitely get around to it soon.
Leo's great, man. Like, he is throwing some chops around. Great. Like, it's really good.
Yep.
Brad Pitt's awesome. The intercuts of just the pop-ups of the Tarantino people that he gets are always great. But yeah, Jesus God, there's some hilarious scenes, and there's some scenes where Tarantino really plays with kind of edge of your seat. You don't really know what's going to happen here.
Okay, sure.
And he knows where you think he's going to go, and he goes in the opposite direction.
Right.
And I'm like, that's awesome what you just did there.
Okay, cool.
Because I thought that was literally going to kick off, but it didn't.
Yeah, okay,
and that's great.
Excellent.
Yeah. So really plays with some tension, and God, it's good.
Okay.
And then you just get into the ultra violence that is Tarantino.
Excellent.
That we know and love.
Well, yes, that we do know and love.
But yeah, really good. I liked it.
Oh, nice one, man.
I liked it, man.
All right, well, I'm going to talk about a movie from 2018 called Alpha.
Okay.
Which is directed by Albert Hughes, one of the Hughes brothers who brought us Book of Eli and From Hell. This is a movie that I think I was more excited about it when it was coming out, and then it fizzled and nobody really talked about it, and so I lost interest in it.
Yeah.
And then it just popped up on Amazon, and I thought, well, why not? I'll give it a crack. This was one of those movies where the trailer for it came out like a good 18 months before the actual film came out, because they kept pushing it back and pushing it back. And it did come out and was met with a bit of a shrug all around. It's a story about it's set in the prehistoric era, about a young tribal boy who suffers a fall, and his tribe think he's passed away, he's dead because they can't find him.
Sure.
And while he's trying to protect himself, he injures a dog.
Okay.
And because he is kind-hearted boy, he's not really as tough as the rest of his tribe, and he's still learning how to be like a warrior. He has compassion for this dog and tries to look after it, and they end up forming a bond.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's imagining a fictional story of like the first friendship between man and dog. And it's got some really great stuff in it. Visually, it's spectacular. My God, it does some really beautiful things. And it keeps you on the edge of your seat really effectively. There is a bit of a twist at the end that I didn't see coming.
Okay.
And I think the movie was really clever in the way that it never foreshadowed that at all. It just kind of allowed things to happen, and then when the twist is revealed at the end, you're kind of like, oh shit, I never even thought of that.
Right.
And it kind of seems really obvious at the end, even though it was never really mentioned throughout the film. You don't choose to go that way in your thought process. So when it is revealed to be a certain something happens, you kind of just go, oh yeah, that makes total sense.
Okay.
I didn't even think of that. And it makes the movie better for it, I think, when you think back on it and see it from that perspective. it's there's obviously not a lot of dialogue. Everything is spoken in a different language.
Oh, right.
So it's entirely subtitled. Cody Schmidt-McPhee is the main guy, Nightcrawler from the new X-Men movies.
Oh, yeah. I like him.
Yeah, and he's great. The CGI, I believe the dog is generally CGI.
CGI.
I think maybe that there's some moments where it's real, but I want to say that it's almost entirely CGI. I could be completely wrong.
Yep.
There's a lot of prehistoric animals that are completely CGI that look fantastic as well. Real great, like sweeping shots of the landscape that are really quite breathtaking.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first films that because on Prime, I think 4K streaming on Prime comes with your normal membership if it's available in 4K.
Sure.
And I believe this was.
Okay.
And it looks fucking mint. Yeah, well, not perfect at all. Meanders a little bit. It feels chopped. It feels like there's a longer, maybe more thoughtful movie in there that they cut down to be more accessible length, because it's bang on 90 minutes, so it's 97 minutes. So it feels like it could have been longer and it could have been flushed out a little bit more, and we could have spent a little bit more time building this relationship between the two of them.
Yeah.
But I think its intentions are really good, and it might not reach extreme highs, but it's very enjoyable and achieves what it sets out to do. So it's definitely worth it. Alpha, it's just on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
If you happen to have a Prime membership, which is we've ranted and raved about how great Prime is. It's cheap and there's so many options.
Exactly.
And you do get a lot of premieres there that you don't get anywhere else.
Yep.
They tend to get movies that were disappointments at the box office very quickly.
Yeah.
I've noticed that the turnaround on them is really fast onto Prime. Things that you just don't...
You're like, oh, wasn't that just at the cinema?
Netflix get movies that we didn't even realize were going straight to Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, Netflix gets those movies that they decide not to have a cinematic release here.
Yeah.
Prime get the movies that we did get a cinematic release for, but you missed because no one saw it.
Because literally they were out for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And this was one of those where it was at the movies for a couple of weeks, no one gave a rat's, and then it just popped up on Prime. It's been there on Prime for quite some time.
Okay.
And I just
came
finally
out
got
2018.
Yeah, but late 2018, I believe. Yeah,
I remember the cover. I've seen the cover.
So it's definitely worth watching if you're into that kind of stuff. It's like a better version of 10,000 BC.
Oh yeah,
the Roland Emmerich movie.
I've
No,
it's
awful. I don't think I made it through. I think I started watching it. I don't think I've ever seen the end of that movie. I think I watched about half an hour of it.
I did the same with Beowulf.
Oh, I like Beowulf.
Do you?
Yeah.
Should I give that another crack?
I like some of it.
You like some of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm more... I get more out of the actual legend of Beowulf, and I'm just happy to see it on screen because I think it's really... I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's one of those classical legends that I'm just like, can we please have a really great movie about this, because it deserves to have one.
And there isn't one?
There isn't one. No. But yeah, so Alpha.
Nice.
Amazon Prime. Should we cross some streams?
Amazon Prime. Yeah, I think we should cross some streams, and I think we should pick something from 2001.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Nice.
And I've already chosen mine.
Oh, well, you go first.
But we should do our theme song, though, Nick.
As if I could do this.
Come on, you can do it. Ready?
Oh,
1, 2, 3. Crossing the streams!
I got that was bad.
Hey, cough it out, man. Cough it out.
Back
it up.
Hello.
All right, well, I'll go first.
You go first.
So there's a movie on Stan, which is only on Stan. You can't get it any other way. You can't stream it any other way.
Okay.
And it is from 2001, and that is the David Mamet crime caper,
Heist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
now,
nice one.
Heist is a great movie because, for a number of reasons, David Mamet writes incredible dialogue. I love how he writes dialogue.
Right.
There is a certain kind of poetry to the way he writes. There's a weird kind of impenetrability, if that's a word, to his dialogue. It feels kind of like everything that people are saying is important, but you can't quite figure out why. And then if you dig into it deep, you can really start to kind of... but you have to break through with his stuff.
Okay.
It can feel kind of, not robotic, but it can feel kind of impenetrable. Yeah, and I think it's a great kind of calling card for a screenwriter, because it's definitely not relatable. It's the opposite of that. It doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
It feels incredibly non-naturalistic, but for a very particular purpose. So a movie like Heist, when you have actors like Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, Delroy Lindo delivering this really great dialogue, it's just wondrous to listen to. You just kind of get caught up in it.
Right.
It's like one of the last great Hackman performances. Of course, he's since I think
Why did he go to
2003.
shit?
I think
Why
he
did
retired.
He just pack it in.
I think he
going
just
on
kind of
there?
decided that he'd done enough, and what else can he achieve? And
Okay.
you know what? Sure,
That's
man.
fair enough. He's got a lot on his belt.
I feel like Gene Hackman. It's going to be one of those news articles that just pops up, and it's like he's passed away sadly after suffering an illness, and we just didn't hear about it because he's not in the public eye at all anymore.
Yeah, not at all.
Because he'd be kicking on now. He'd be in his 80s, surely.
Shit, really?
Well, you'd have to think so. Gene Hackman's one of those guys that's just always been old to me.
Yeah.
Was there ever young Gene Hackman?
No,
even like French Connection, he's like in his 50s,
yeah,
isn't
he looked old. He wasn't in his 50s, but he looked old, yeah. I know what you're saying.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of those things where it's like it's worth watching just because you want to see Gene Hackman again. I think we kind of take him for granted a little bit. He was born in 1930, so he is 89 years old.
Shit, man. That's nice.
Yeah, so I can't imagine Gene Hackman is going to be with us for too much longer, unfortunately. But,
Jesus.
so it's worth going. And, you know, his last movie was fucking Welcome to Mooseport.
Oh, God.
So you don't want to watch that. You don't need to see the titans of acting, Gene Hackman and Ray Romano, going at it. So
exactly.
Watch something like this where you get to see an incredibly gifted actor tackle this beautiful dialogue, this wonderful dialogue. Mamet's not the greatest director. He's as far as a visual style goes, he doesn't really have much to hang his hat on, but he does. And Heist is not it looks a bit like a TV movie, but a very good one. But you're there for the dialogue, you're there for his storytelling. That and a movie that I always sing the praises of, Spartan. Two movies that I just really brought me around, and of course he wrote the screenplay for The Untouchables, which is one of my favorite movies. So.
That's pretty good.
Always on board for David Mamet. So
Jesus,
check it out. It's on Stan.
I'm not kicking any goals over here. All of the things that I want to stream are not streamable, or you have to pay for them.
Well, I searched 2001 in Just Watch, and it brought up.
Shit!
And I just started scrolling through.
Well, that's decent. I didn't know it did that.
Should I pause while you do this?
No. Wait 2 seconds.
Oh, we're gonna wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm going to talk about the ones that I did want to do, but I couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
2001. Oh, that's decent. I didn't know it did that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, because the one major one that I go to, 2001, is Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Oh, of course.
And
which I think you've recommended before.
I have. No, I've talked about it before.
Oh, okay.
You can't. The reason I haven't recommended it is because you can't stream it. You have to buy it.
Right.
From like a physical copy.
Oh, right.
So yeah, you can't even buy it off iTunes or anywhere like that. So and then I went to the next one, which was Enemy at the Gate. Actually, I'll talk about Enemy at the Gate. Because you can stream that, but you have to buy it.
Okay, sure.
Which, to be honest, if you're up for a movie that's about Enemy of the Gate is. I loved it because it's a movie that caught me by surprise. I didn't know.
too.
I didn't know it was going to be such a good film, and
I really enjoy that movie.
Really is.
Yeah,
yeah.
You can borrow my DVD if.
There you go. But you can
it.
Stream it on most things, like it's on iTunes or it's on anywhere that you can buy it.
What's it going to cost for that?
$2.
$2 to rent.
Like, come on.
Oh, come on.
What
are you doing?
Exactly. So you've got Jude Law, you've got Rachel Weisz, Ed Harris, and Joseph Fiennes, and it's
Ed Harris is so good in this movie.
He's so good, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's essentially two snipers. Trying to get at one another. I haven't seen it since 2001.
Oh, really?
But it sticks in my mind so much that I know that it's good. I remember it so well. I was like, yeah, this part and this part and this part, so good.
I've watched it multiple times. I used to, after the first time I watched it, I was like, I think I found like a... Because you know how I feel about like the underdog movies, the movies that nobody talks about.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting in my room watching it, kind of looking around, like, is nobody talking about this movie?
Yeah,
why aren't we talking about this movie? This movie's fucking great.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. Like the aesthetic, I remember the art direction is really good. Like
beautiful.
Setting the scene of that time really well.
Yeah,
and the tension, because it is. You're talking about two snipers who are going after one another. The tension is just sitting there. So it's just on that. Also, you've got the love interest, which is Rachel Weisz. And one of the most intimate sex scenes that I've ever seen in cinema.
Yeah, it was
like
very
it's
realistic.
Realistic and really well done.
Yeah, I agree.
It was such a good film. And I've actually talked myself into wanting to watch it again.
Yeah, you've made me want to watch it too.
Such a good movie.
It's not really the finale, but it's amazing how much tension they get out of just two dudes sitting in there,
just sitting at one another,
at one end of a war ground, behind their whatever you call it, their cover
or whatever it's in there,
and the way they're just you're just listening to them breathe. They're counting steps. They're looking for any kind of movement.
Yeah, and they're waiting for that other person to make a mistake.
It's all about waiting for a mistake to be made.
Yeah.
And it is so tense, and it's wonderful. Yeah, I really love it.
Such a good film.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great. We should do that movie.
Gate. Yeah,
I'd love to talk about that movie. Great choice. So that's our Crossing the Streams. That's going to wrap us, Nick.
Oh, Tys, that was. I didn't realise we were going to get such a good episode out of Swordfish.
Yeah, well, like every now and then it's fun to talk about a shit movie. And,
it is.
I hope we weren't too
Hey, we watched it. We enjoyed it for different reasons.
I don't want to get bratty when we're talking about bad movies. I like to kind of keep it light. I hope we don't come across as dickheads, hanging shit on a bad movie. It's pretty low hanging fruit, Swordfish. But
all of those people who are in this movie are doing well.
Yeah, exactly. They're fine. And
it's not as if
those people I enjoy in many other films.
Exactly. And it's not as if we were picking on an art house film, which was the first direction of someone who's put their life and soul into it.
Some independent thing.
We're not those type of people.
No, we'd never do that.
No, that's awful.
But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Nick, next week, we've got something exciting going on because, everyone in the world is
hanging for this.
Waiting with bated breath for It Chapter 2, which is being released in Australia the day we are recording today.
Ooh.
So next week, it'll still be hot. Everyone will be talking about their love for It Chapter 2.
That's true.
And we thought it would be fun for us to go back and revisit the
90s?
The 1990?
I think it's 1990.
It miniseries.
Yes.
Starring Tim Curry as Pennywise. We're going to watch this bad boy. We're preempting, because we are 1 month away from Scary Movie Month, Nick.
1990s, we are.
So we're preempting our Spookisodes.
Yep.
Which is very exciting. Getting in a little bit early, and we're going to talk about the It miniseries.
Exactly.
It's going to be a bunch
And remember
of fun.
to get those requests in if you want us to do a specific horror film.
Yeah.
Or, which I can't believe Tys is making me do this again, but a horror franchise.
That's it. Email us, nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. Tell us what franchise you would like us to rank.
Actually, I'm excited about doing another franchise.
I am clarifying my thoughts, and I'm leaning towards one. If we don't get a recommendation better than this one.
This one?
Yeah, I think I think I know which one we're going to go for.
We're doing Saw again? We're doing Saw.
Yeah, we're doing Saw again. Fuck. That's 100% it. Nick, why don't you tell people where they can find our show?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to us. We are Nick and Tys, and this is our videotape podcast.
Yes.
We talk about films. If you like what you hear, please rate, review, subscribe. All of those things, 5-star on anywhere you listen to podcasts, which is mostly just iTunes. Oh, and podcasts as well. And YouTube. But other than that,
that's it.
Follow us on all the socials, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We do have a Gmail account, which is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. I spell Nick, N-I-C, and Tys is T-Y-S. Also, download that Letterboxd app. Do it right now.
Get it. Add us. Follow us.
I know you're in the car. Look.
Pull over.
Pull
over and download it right now.
Pull the fuck over.
Don't do it while driving. That's not cool.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, download the app. Look us up. I am Nick_videotape and Tys is TYS_videotape.
That's it. And don't forget, if you want to listen on a particular format, which you can maybe help us out financially, don't forget good old Radio Public. Radio Public's the way to go. Just simply by listening to us. You don't have to do anything else other than listen to us through their app or through their desktop webpage. And we get a little bit on the back end, which is great.
That's true. That's true.
Nick?
Tys?
It's been fun.
It has been a ball.
I'll see you next week.
See you, man.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.